Alrighty, well, hello and welcome to episode 7 of Market Appeal. I'm Robin Taney, the Get Real girl from Studio 4 PR, and I, along with my co-host Wanda Baader, are here to share with you more information about marketing and PR that you can use to help grow your business. I own a PR business called Studio 4 PR. Marketing and PR that you can use to help grow your business. And I am working with small business owners and entrepreneurs to help them get more visibility. And I'm going to let Wanda introduce herself, and then we will get right into today's show. Hey, Wanda.
Okay, Robin, I'm sorry if you heard yourself in the background. I did have YouTube, our YouTube window open just to see if we could have that opened, and also see if anybody was trying to chat with us over there. So I turned that off immediately because I was hearing you talk on top of yourself. So if you heard it too, I apologize.
We don't need to hear me talk more than one time.
Well, if you are joining us through YouTube, I did put a link there for you to come over and join us on Google Hangouts on Air. That's where we're doing our group chat and asking anybody who wants to join in on the conversation to come over here. Unfortunately, if you're chatting with us on YouTube, I will not be able to see it because if I mute that, I mute the show, and I won't be able to hear Robin talking, and it's important that I hear Robin talk. So again, sorry about that. And I'm Wanda Baader from Strategize Your Success, and we are a full service marketing agency in Tucson, Arizona, and Robin is joining from the fair city of Rochester, New York. And I'm going to hand it over to Robin right now to get us started on today's show about what's hot and trending right now in marketing and PR.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Wanda. So, we've been talking a lot these last couple of weeks since the beginning of the year about what small businesses can expect for 2017. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but it keeps coming up again and again. So it's obviously really important and something that we need to pay attention to. And that is the use of video. And especially when it comes to PR, visual storytelling is key. The average person, did you know this, Wanda? The average person watches 32 videos per month, and there's a 74% increase in understanding when someone watches a video. Now, I actually thought the 32 videos a month was kind of low, given that YouTube's numbers are like, something like 1 million videos being, uploaded every, 15 seconds. But I think it's important that we remember that, there's a lot of ways to use video that will get you some visibility. And you can incorporate, in addition to incorporating just doing a regular video, you can incorporate images and slideshows in your PR campaigns. So it's a great way to kind of shake things up and help people see you in a different way. And it also gives you credibility, because if you're doing something that's as creative and cutting edge as doing a video, then a prospective client can feel comfortable as to the kind of work you're going to do for them.
Absolutely. And I think it creates that know, like, and trust, that people really get to know you as an individual. It's like they started saying a couple of years back when video marketing was, just at the forefront in marketing, that, now we'll know the people who've been faking it to make it and the people who really know their stuff, because when you're live, yep. And some people have used their virtual assistants to get things out and maybe taken some shortcuts, but when you're doing live streaming, there's no shortcuts here.
Nope. And you're out there. So So full transparency and just being able to kind of, I kind of go with the flow, I guess, because as you know, we've had our share of technical issues to get going. And
Oh yeah.
if we waited until it was perfect, we would never get out there. So you really kind of have to just kind of take a step out of your comfort zone and kind of fine tune it as you go along. And you do get better. I think we're getting better, don't you?
Well, absolutely. Practice makes perfect, as they say.
Exactly.
And it's like, and like you said, a lot of things that we use are in beta. We've used Facebook Live through Be Live TV, which is a beta platform, and they keep getting better at what they're doing. Right now, we're on the old Google Hangouts on Air, which is, a comfort zone, but there are drawbacks with that too. For instance, on the replay, Robin, they cannot see both of us on the screen at the same time. There's no split screen with doing Hangouts on Air. Boo.
Lovely.
So yeah, it's always a process. That's
And a
what we'll call
challenge.
it.
So what else do you have for us on the news front?
Well, since we're talking about live streaming, I just wanted to say, some people are like, well, why should I use something like Facebook Live? And I just want to reiterate this, and we've talked about statistics before. 1.86 billion monthly users. That's why.
That's a
That's
big
why you
number.
want to be where everybody else is. And so some of the top most watched live streams are over 3 hours long. I was floored by that because last week when we did our show, I talked about doing Twitter videos, and obviously everything's fast and furious and very quick on as far as getting your videos seen. 3 seconds, you've got to do this. But then we've got the opposite with doing something live streaming through Facebook, which I thought was kind of interesting. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I guess, at the risk of like totally confusing people, would you say that it's really a matter of kind of identifying what the best purpose is going to be in terms of whether the long form or the short form is really going to be best for your audience, be best for your content, and then just kind of, maybe try it out, and see what works.
Well, I think that as far as so many people are on Facebook. Obviously, 1.86 billion people are monthly using Facebook. But I think that if your audience is on Facebook, for instance, they recommend that you should do your broadcast live for at least 20 minutes. They're also saying, although their broadcasts can be supported up to 4 hours at this point. But you want to remember, the longer your live broadcast, the more people are scrolling through your news feeds on Facebook will see it.
Right.
So, that's definitely a plus. The other plus is that just the other day, which was yesterday, come to think of it, I'm always working like days in advance in my brain for some reason. It was Monday, yesterday. But they release the ability to monetize your videos on Facebook, which is going to be super big with people in doing business online. Now, this does not help us average Joes in business at this point. Obviously, this is for the heavier hitters right now that are on Facebook. But once something, starts there, it always trickles down. And I recommend to people, Robin, and you and I have talked about this before, that if you are going to be doing any type of serious business on Facebook, make sure that your page is verified, because verified pages get stuff first.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So it's like, you want to make sure that if this stuff is rolling out, that if you're interested in doing it and you want to do things like monetizing your videos, that you'll be able to do so in the future when it rolls out to the average business owner. And
Right.
the way that it works is that they're doing it like, I know that a lot of us have seen like sales videos and where you see something at the bottom pop up every now and then. It will be that type of thing where they, from what I understand, they do this like questionnaire to ask you a bunch of different questions about your business, and then you get to go on the back end of it, and you can decide where you want to monetize within your live video. How many, like how many minutes within your video feed are you wanting a certain something to pop up and things like that.
Okay.
So
So,
that's it. Go
so
ahead.
are they talking about like putting ads within your videos or?
Absolutely. That's what
Okay.
they're talking about. So let's say that you and I were doing a Facebook Live and we had an event coming up. We could monetize and advertise that event within our Facebook Live at a certain point. And at that point, too, we can also say, here's a sales page that you can go to purchase your tickets.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Now I
yeah.
would think that it has to be, there has to be some sort of organization involved, because we obviously don't want somebody clicking on the ad and going off the video, leaving the video in order to, go check out the ad. So I'm
Right.
assuming that there's going to be some process by which, people can feel comfortable that yes, the money that they're spending on the ad is going to get visibility, but in order for it to get visibility, they have to stay on the live video.
Yeah, I think that, and I could be wrong because there's not a ton of information out. It's so new. Just again, got some information on it yesterday. I'm thinking that it's monetization that you and I would want for our event, not for somebody else's.
Okay.
And in that case, and I would also assume that there is probably going to be a way for them, it would open in a separate window versus leaving the live conversation.
Oh, over. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like sometimes in different apps, like let's say a WordPress website. If you have a URL link in there, I always choose, open in a new window, because again, you don't want to take people off of your site to go over there.
Right.
It's
Right.
for the same reason I tell people don't put your social media stuff at the top of your page. Put it towards the bottom, like of your blog or something like that, because it's just it's eye candy, and people will get distracted and they'll go off your website.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds really cool. That sounds exciting, and should be interesting to check out. Have they indicated like when it's really going to start? Can people start doing it right now, or is it something that's going to take effect over the next couple of months?
From what I understand, it's rolled out already to some of the leading people on Facebook that have a lot of viewers. I think that the statistics were like you had to have 300 active viewers on your show, for instance. So, if you're going to have 300 people watching live, you're pretty much up there, drawing in a lot of traffic to be able to do that. And then there were some other criteria as far as like, I believe you had to have over 2,000 people on your business page.
Right.
So things like that. Not that it's going to stay that way, but you know how they work it out. It's just like with Facebook Live. Not everybody got it all at the same time.
Right.
I believe there's still people waiting to be able to do Facebook Live from their desktops. I've had it for weeks, but I know some people are still waiting to see it and they haven't gotten it. And this was, and I do want to mention this, it was only for the US right now. Only
Okay.
US people. Because I know
Okay.
that I have some viewers that are international. So sorry, guys, it's not rolling out to you yet.
But we'll have worked out all the bugs by the time it gets overseas.
Yeah, trust me. If there's any bugs, Robin and I will probably work them out for you.
We'll find them.
Because if there's bugs, we usually do find them.
Yeah, right. They usually find us. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well that's awesome. Good,
Yeah.
good, good stuff. Good stuff. Um, so I have one on content with regards to content because I am always preaching about how content is king, and you can't just throw any content out there and expect that um, you're gonna have high engagement and all that stuff. So, in terms of using non-traditional content amplification, which sounds like a mouthful of something.
Yeah. Say it 10 times.
Yeah, no, don't say it 3 times because it'll come out sounding really bad. But seriously, when you have great content, you want to share it. And one of the trends this year involves some new and creative tactics that will kind of add to what you're already doing with social media, because that is going to continue to be one of the main ways to share your content. But now, along the lines of what you were just talking about, you can combine that with paid promotion. So, you can do the Facebook promoted posts. You could do the monetization that you were just talking about. You can do Twitter's promoted tweets. You can do LinkedIn sponsored updates. Google AdWords is going to continue to be another great way to use paid promotion. And the other thing is that you can also try asking major influencers in your circle of your industry to share and contribute to your content so that it gives it more credibility and publicity. And I think that if you add those two things kind of in conjunction with what you're already doing, it will help elevate it to the next level. Because as you and I both know, as we as more and more happens and more people get on the social media bandwagon, it's going to get more crowded, and
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot more people vying for attention and everything. So you have to have interesting videos that are going to capture the attention. You have to have interesting content that is going to make people want to comment and share on it. So it's good food for thought.
Mhm. Yeah, good stuff. It's the reason that video will again be so important is because a lot of the block ads that we see on Facebook, for instance, they'll run out of space. There's
Right.
only so much space and that they have out there that's available, and that's why video is going to be a key factor in people promoting their businesses here in the future.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the camera, it's like I know that we all are like, but you got to get used to the camera, or else you're going to have to really find, either put out a lot of money to do, print type blog ad blocks, or do video. And if you're not comfortable with doing them yourself, I mean, that's one of the reasons, we've talked about Periscope, for instance. I don't like doing a monologue. I like to have an active conversation with people like my good friend Robin here. And that's why I loved Blab so much, because you could always bring people into the conversation. And Google Hangouts as well. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know that Google Hangouts on air exists anymore. It does. It's still living and breathing on YouTube. It's just a little bit different. But
Yeah, well, I think that's probably because they told everybody that it was going away.
Yeah.
Right?
And
So,
I think eventually, I think eventually it probably will. Oh, and speaking of YouTube, I just heard recently, Robin, and you'll probably like this because we were actually talking about the OBS studio which is
Yes.
a free app that you can have in order to do your YouTube lives. Well, now apparently you can use them for Periscope.
Oh, okay. So that's going to be OBS is actually very versatile because they're looking at it for everything from if you wanted to do like long form programming on YouTube to, being able to do something like, um, you know, Periscope and Facebook Live as it is now, I
Mhm.
kind of think of as that more like extemporaneous, spontaneous, sort of like, hey, I'm at an event. I'm going to, share with you what I'm seeing right now. I'm going to, I'm backstage and I'm going to give you like that behind the scenes look. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see how this whole idea of being able to go for 20 minutes at their recommended, length is going to really work out because I don't know that people, um, when they're just thinking, oh, I'm going to go on, I'm just going to go on Facebook Live and talk about what I'm doing right now. I don't know whether they realize how long 20 minutes is and if they really have enough content, prepared. So I think you have to. There might be more planning involved in what that's going to look like, and it's just more to learn.
Absolutely. And, I know it kind of might look kind of like a casual conversation that Robin and I put together here, but we actually do go and try to find relevant information to share with you every week.
Yes.
And we do our research and we prepare for the show. And, we still haven't found a home that we're quite happy with yet. We don't know if it's going to be Facebook Live or if we're going to stick out over here in YouTube land or what. But, it's definitely some work, and it does take dedication and commitment in order to be able to put something together on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
Yeah. And and especially, when you're engaging with other people, whether it's like Wanda and I engaging as co-hosts and being able to play off of each other's what we're sharing, there's also the other piece of it is that when somebody comes your into the space and either asks a question or shares something that um, is not necessarily part of what you thought the plan was going to be, you have to be able to roll with it. So I think that ability to be able to, like you said earlier, to be able to create that know, like, and trust factor is going to be huge as people um, consumers want to have more control over the way they get their content. So being able to have that ability to kind of come in and see who they're talking to and and what they're saying, and being able to have an impact right then on the conversation is going to be a major game changer.
Definitely, definitely. So I think that we should go ahead and talk about another thing here, which is Instagram. How exciting stuff
Instagram.
happening over at the other Facebook property.
Yes.
So this week alone, there's been some really great stuff, and some of you may already know it, is Instagram has officially introduced the ability for users to share multiple photos and videos in a single post, which I think is great. Instead of putting out 10 different posts, you can have 10 items in one post, and it can
Oh,
be a
that's great.
video as well.
So it can be kind of like a collage.
Right, it's a collage of things, and so the viewers who are going to I've already seen people utilizing it. People that go to see whatever you posted, they can go through and scroll through. They'll see your video, they'll see the other photos that you included in that montage of information, which I think is great. Especially, let's say we were talking about events. Let's say that you're at a live event and you want to share what's going on. You could take some video, you can take some, photos, and then just include that all in your post.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of fun. Now you
Yeah.
do have to have the updated version of iOS or Android, which is the 10.9 version of Instagram.
Okay.
So if you're not seeing it on your phone, it's probably because you need to just upgrade that. And most phones upgrade automatically anyway
Right.
if you've set it up that way. But if you like to control that and you haven't set it up to automatically update, you want to make sure that you do that so that you can have all the fun with the rest of the people, the 600 million users monthly.
Yeah, right. Now here's a question for you, which, sorry to catch you off guard, but I just happened to think of it, is that
Uh-huh.
for people that have the ability to, where they can post, where their Facebook posts post to Instagram, would that automatically, like if they posted a montage on Facebook, would it automatically carry over to Instagram if
No,
you're
I think
set up?
this is only for phones right now.
Oh, okay.
Because if you go into, for instance, I do share a lot from my Facebook business page over to my Instagram account because I do a lot of quotes, you know, that are motivational quotes or business quotes and things like that on a daily basis. So if you don't know how to do this, I'll just tell you real quick. Is you just go into your Facebook, you click on the photo, you know, like touch on that photo so that it opens up. And then there will be like 3 dots at the top of your page. If you hover over that, it will allow you to choose share external. And so when you go there to share external, it's going to give you options as to where do you want to share this post to. You share it through Instagram if that's on your phone.
Okay.
And then it will open up an Instagram and allow you to crop it to get it to look just right, because it's going from one thing to the other, it's going to be probably a lot larger. So you
Right.
need to downsize it a little bit. So you just do it, you know, on your smartphones. You can touch it and size it up, and then you can send it through. And if you want to adjust the photo, you know how they have all the different
Right.
um, colors and things that you can do to it, and then you can go ahead and share it over. So you know, you won't be able to do that with 10 things at this point.
Now, does it, doing it that way, does it give you the option to also write the post? So if you want to write in the
Come to
Instagram
think of
post from
it,
there, does it let you do that?
you know, come to think of it, I have to go and open it up, and I will let you know. Why don't you go ahead with your piece, your next piece, and I'll be playing with this over here, and
Okay.
I'll have the answer for you.
All right. So folks, this is like real up to the minute,
Up to a minute, yes.
update. Okay. So the last thing that I have to share is actually something that I'm not quite sure that I agree with. And that is that the traditional media press release is dead. And I don't really think that's true. But I have seen it said before, and I have read where people have written that if you are don't send me a press release if you you know, unless you don't expect me to read it, kind of thing. So I think it really depends on your locale. I know in my locale of Rochester, the local media still embraces press releases. But you know, it once was the best way to get news out fast. These days, it's faster to actually pitch the story to the journalists directly, who know the ways to get it out to your audience, audience that you want to get it to, and on the sites that your audience is going to read. One of the things that they're saying is that they're suggesting is that you can publish your news on your own blog, and then share it on social media, which I don't actually think is news. I've been saying that for like ever. But this gets you more views, and it also helps you avoid the consequences, which is that Google often doles out backlinks and duplicate content when people distribute press releases to multiple sites. So those that use like multiple distribution, where they're like blasts that go out to multiple news sites, it could be impacting your Google search results.
We're getting a little feedback, Robin, from your mic, unfortunately. It's starting to get a little echoey.
All right,
I'll let you see if you can adjust that on your end. It wasn't as bad as last week. That's the good news. So that's really good information that you shared there about the press releases. It's sort of like what last week when we were talking about the business card. Is the business card dead, or has Google taken its place? And I think that everything is relevant to your own situation and your own community. It's like, you have to figure out what works for you. Robin, I am not hearing you. So if you can unmute
now can
yourself.
You hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Okay. So
yes, that you're right. That is true. I think it totally depends on your locale.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just to talk about that too is that you had mentioned something about get on the phone with somebody in your local community. Well, as a PR expert that you are, that might be easier for someone like you, but that's not necessarily going to always happen for someone that's not connected to, let's say, local reporters or has the ins into the PR world, right?
Well, that is true in a sense, but a lot of times they don't want to talk to the PR person. They want to talk directly to the person that, the PR person can sometimes just be the middleman.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still hearing my feedback?
It's just a tinge there, just a little.
So it really, the bottom line is that you have a relationship with the reporters. You know what they cover. You know what kind of news and stories you're looking for. You try to help them out in ways that are not necessarily just to benefit you or your client. So if you want to be thought of as an industry leader, is being that person, that go-to person that they reach out to because you know your information. So don't be self-serving. Don't stalk media if they don't cover your information, and just try to remember that they're people too.
Right. Well, it's years ago, back in the day, I had a professional organizing business, and I tell you what, that was an excellent category because it's evergreen. And I used to have the press reaching out to me, to be able to get filler pieces because it's something that you could use all year round. Everybody's always looking to organize, whether it's their business, their home, their whatever. And so it was always a lot easier than obviously it would be right now because there's a lot more people, I think, that are trying to get the media's ear that relates to marketing.
Yep. And make their jobs easier. They've the newsrooms have suffered a lot of cutbacks in the last few years, so they're not able to chase down and develop the stories like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you can do to make their job easier, you will have a friend for life in the media, whether you're a PR person or not, and that's just the truth.
Well, I'm sure that we could talk hours and hours just on the PR version of things.
I could.
Yeah, well, I find
You
it
have to shut me up.
fascinating. A lot of our stuff, crosses over from regular marketing on PR marketing. So that again would make it an easy conversation. But I know it's I've got 3:35 on my end, and we try to keep the show to about a half hour. So, did you have anything else that you quickly wanted to share before we end the show, or are we going to save
No,
that for next time?
no. I'll save my surprises for the next show. Just as always, we love hearing from people. So if you have questions or topics that you'd like us to cover, please send them to either Wanda or me, and we will try to include them. And we're just we're learning as we go along, and we're going to get better and better as we do it.
Yeah, I think that we offer up a lot of great information as it is. But it obviously, if we have people joining in on the conversation, it makes it more lively. And again, like Robin said, we're talking about the things that you want to hear about, which is important to us. So we thank you for joining us again for this episode. This is episode 7 of our show. And we will be back with you for episode 8 next week. And we, again, appreciate your time, whether you're watching this on the replay or watching this live. So thank you for joining us. We're signing off for today.
Thank you. Have a great day.